Oh, darn it. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So yesterday I received a couple of packages in PR and I literally almost immediately started swatching and playing with just some of the products that I received, because there's just certain times, like I receive a lot of mail, there's always new launches, but there's certain packages or certain collections that like really get me excited. And so that's what happened with two of the boxes that I got in the mail yesterday. And I figured that it would be kind of fun to sit down and film with both of these brands. So the first thing that I wanted to try out is actually a new collection from Colourpop. I know they're the brand that never sleeps. They literally launch a collection like every single day, it feels like. And they recently launched a taupe collection, and I don't know what it is about neutral palettes, you guys. I can't help myself. It still is the thing that I get the most excited about, and I feel like so many people now who are like makeup obsessed or consumers don't get excited about it anymore. Like they want to see something new and colorful and different. I get giddy about neutrals, and it doesn't matter how many neutral palettes I have, I still am excited about every neutral palette launch. So this palette just really caught my eye. I've received a couple of other Colourpop collections that look really cute as well, but it wasn't until this one came that I was like, okay, I should film with this. It's like a cool toned palette, which is something that I have been into more and more recently, especially moving into fall. There's like a lip liner too that has very 90s vibes behind it, I feel. So anyways, I'm gonna be trying out some of those products because I can't even help it. I'm really excited about that taupe collection. And then a brand called Haley's Beauty, which I've heard of and I've heard good things about, but I've never tried any of their products. So they sent me a box of so many different things. I'm so grateful. They sent so many different types of foundation. I'm pretty sure that's a brand that only has Complexion products, and they kind of like just focus on that, which I think is kind of cool. So I've got a bunch of different foundations, concealers, and powders, and I wanted to try some of that as well. So I figured it would be a nice way to kind of combine the two, since one of them is like just base products, and then the Colourpop collection we've got a highlighter and an eyeshadow palette and lip liners and stuff like that. So that's what we're doing. Let's go ahead and get right into it. I've already done my brows off camera. Today I used the Carla Beauty Cosmetics eyebrow pencil. Let's do the eyes first. Oh, I wanted to actually show you guys, because I know a lot of people have been asking this, at least I saw it on Instagram, and I was actually curious myself. So I wanted to compare side by side the new taupe palette, or that's taupe palette from Colourpop, with the Going Coconuts palette from Colourpop, which is another one of my very favorite neutral palettes. But I wanted to show you that while they are both neutrals, in my opinion, they are different. So this has definitely more of like a neutral undertone with the colors. This is definitely more gray and cool toned. So I wanted to show you the difference in case you were wondering. I also wanted to compare it against the Natasha Denona Glam palette, which is Natasha Denona's most recent palette. I have been really enjoying this palette. Again, it's just inspiring to me with the cool tones, and it kind of gives off a similar vibe to me. Is this gonna focus? Here we go. Obviously there's more shades and a little more depth that you get in the Natasha Denona palette, but I was kind of interested to see the similarities. So if you've been wanting to have a similar vibe from the Glam palette, this one might be good. Obviously we need to try it first before I recommend it, but yeah, I just wanted to show you a couple of those things before we get into it. So I'm just gonna prep the eyelid with my NARS eyeshadow primer in the shade Medium. You guys, I am so behind on washing my makeup brushes. I have so many brushes, and now I'm left to the ones that like I don't even know what to do with. So I need to wash my makeup brushes. It's crazy. Like I have a huge bin sitting here of dirty makeup brushes that I've been meaning to clean. Maybe I'll do that this weekend. I'm just blending that out with a brush. This one's actually great for concealer under the eyes and also for blending things out on the eyelid. It's the Fenty Beauty concealer brush. I really do enjoy this one. Okay, let's go ahead and dip into this palette from Colourpop. I'm gonna start off with this shade right here called Boa. I like the amount of mattes versus shimmers in this palette actually. There are 5 mattes and 4 shimmer shades. I'm just taking that Boa shade and I'm running it through the crease and above as the transition. It's definitely a little bit more of like a soft shade, which does make it perfect for a transition shade. I'm so excited about this palette. I feel like this happens to me so often. Like in my mind, you know, when I really think about it logically, I probably already own a lot of these shades that's in this palette, but then my heart still get so giddy about it. So I figured if I feel that way about these neutral palettes, that somebody out there has to feel the same way. Because as much as we do love the idea of like a really different, colorful, unique palette, which there's a time and place for that. Like honestly, for me at least, I have to get honest with myself about what I actually reach for on a daily basis. And I'm not reaching for reds and oranges and yellows on an everyday basis, you know? Like I reach for these types of colors. So I think that's why I get super excited, because these are the types of palettes that I hit pan on, you know? It is what it is. Okay, we've blended that out enough, I feel. Okay, let's go ahead and move into this shade right here. I don't know, this looks really good. I'm gonna go ahead and dip into this. It's called Python, and it almost has like a purple undertone. I'm wanting to use this to deepen up the crease a little bit more. I'm gonna use it on this outer edge here as well. And then I'm taking what's left on the brush, and again, just kind of making sure that crease is a little bit more defined. Okay, I think I want to dip into this shade right here. This is called Cold Blooded, and it's like a true taupey metallic. I'm gonna go ahead and use my finger to apply this all over the eyelid. That is so pretty. I really, really like that shade. It has little bits of like a silver glitter in it. It's not super glittery, but you can definitely tell once you blend it out. You can kind of see it on camera that there's those little flecks of glitter, which looks really nice. I'm just going back in with that first brush we were using in the crease, and I'm gonna make sure that the edges are blended. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other eye. Back in the day when I first started my channel, and like a couple years into it even, I feel like I was terrified of cool tones. Like I just didn't think that they were flattering on me. But the more that I've like played with makeup and discovered all the different shades, the more I've personally realized how I feel like cool tones actually flatter my skin tone and my eye color a little bit more a lot of times. I feel like I can kind of do both. Like I feel like warm colors look pretty decent as well, but it's just shocking to me that I used to never ever ever wear cool tones, and now like they're my favorite. I think they're the most effortless, easy to wear shades, where I think I thought before that they weren't very easy to wear. I don't know, I'm kind of rambling here, but it's truly how I feel. Okay, so I think this is a Super Shock shadow right here. So I really do want to take a little bit of this. I don't know if I want to put it all over the lid or not, so I'm going to start in this inner portion. Ooh, I think that's really pretty. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just apply that all over right on top of that taupe metallic we just applied. Ooh, that's so pretty. It definitely gives such a nice added sparkle. Also in the collection, they do have this Snake Eyes duo. Let me finish putting this on this eye and then I'll show you. So they have a Super Shock Shadow Duo, and I know that Ritz is a shade that they already had. So it looks like this. I think this one is Ritz, and then the other one is called Koosh. I don't know if that was an existing shade or if that one's new, but I know that Ritz is definitely one that has been around, and I've actually owned it before. I think I just got rid of it because it was pretty old, so I'm glad that I have another one. But yeah, this is part of the collection too if you guys were interested. However, I do feel like the Super Shock Shadow in the actual palette gives a very similar effect to what those two shades probably would. It's a little bit lighter, I guess, but I like that shade of Super Shock Shadow in the palette. I think it's really pretty. Okay, we're gonna deepen up that outer third a little bit more. I'm gonna go into this shade right here. This is called Rock Steady, and I'm just gonna start blending that into the outer V of the eye. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, I like that shade a lot. I feel like that added the depth that I was looking for while still keeping the eye look relatively soft. Yeah, I definitely really, really like that shade. I think that really rounded everything out. I'm gonna go back in with the first brush we were using and just make sure the edges are super blended. Okay, I really like how that looks. Let's go ahead and apply Top Lash Mascara. I can't figure out which mascara I want to use. Maybe I'll use this one. It's been a while. This is the Hourglass Unlocked Instant Extensions Mascara. And I'm just going to apply that to the top lashes only for now. Okay, we're gonna move on to Complexion. First, I'm going to remove any fallout under the eyes. There's really not that much. And also I'm gonna kind of clean up the edges slightly. Okay, now it's time to try out some Hailey's Beauty. From what I understand, this is a pretty affordable brand. I think their complexion products are around the $20 range. Now, I always get confused because there have been times where I include like Glossier in an affordable video and there's comments that are like, Glossier is not affordable. It's definitely more high-end. And then I include, like, what was it the other day? Oh, in my high-end Allure video or whatever, I included a Juvia's Place eyeshadow palette, which was $20. $20, and I assumed that most people would think that's high-end, and then I had comments saying that it was drugstore. So this is just one of those confusing in-between price point kind of things. In my opinion, it's relatively affordable considering the prices of like Colourpop, you know, like there are some products from Colourpop that are around the $20 range as well. So I don't know. I'm putting it in this video and I feel like it's affordable, but anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and try out the Haley's Refine Prime Foundation Primer. Here's what it looks like. It's kind of interesting in this tube. I almost feel like it has a whipped consistency, which is maybe why it looks like that. I'm gonna go ahead and just take the cap off. So this is such a cool packaging, actually. Just gonna do a little bit of that on my finger. And then I'm gonna warm it up in my hands and then just apply that all over the skin. Okay, wow, so it's definitely more of a smoothing type primer. Which for me, I really like the idea of smoothing primers. I think that they feel nice and like a lot of times they look nice underneath foundations. But it's just funny because sometimes for me, I feel like I don't reach for the blurring type primers as much as I do the glowy ones. Even though I have like combination skin and I technically have larger pores in the T-zone, I don't know what it is. But this feels really nice on the skin and it feels lightweight, which is nice. So I'm excited to see how that looks underneath foundation. They have so many different types of foundation. They have like a mineral, like loose powder foundation. They have stick foundations. They have like a serum foundation. They have a tinted oil. They have this one right here, which is like a luminous finish foundation. And then they also have the Reset Liquid Matte Foundation. So I have so many options to choose from, and honestly, I'm not sure which one I want to use. I think I'm going to try this one first. The packaging just kind of gets me on this. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with this one today. Plus also with more of like a cool toned eye and a 90s lip, I feel like matte skin will kind of match that a little bit. I don't know. Maybe that's just in my head. I'm trying to break the seal off of this. Okay, so it says, for best results, apply with a sponge, build to full coverage by layering as needed. I have the shade 2.15 Neutral. I want to say this is their lightest shade in the range, but I could be wrong. I think it's going to be a perfect match for me though. So just like the primer, the cap comes off. It's really interesting. I like the packaging a lot on this. And they actually did send me a sponge. This is one of their sponges, so I'm going to follow their instructions and apply this with a sponge all over the complexion. It has like a pretty strong scent to it. It's not a scent actually, it just has kind of a strong ingredient smell, if that makes sense. I'm just gonna press this into the skin. Wow, the coverage is definitely there. You can see how well it's covering up my redness. Okay, so I'm gonna do the other side now. The shade is actually perfect for me. And the undertone is great too. Sometimes I find with a lot of foundation brands, so many of the fair shades have more of a pink undertone, and I have more of a neutral undertone, definitely. So sometimes it's hard for me to find foundations that match my undertone in the fair range, and this is working perfectly. I'm going to take what's left and apply it on my forehead. I'm going to take just a little bit more, and I'm going to layer that on top of my blemish area right here on my jawline. I'm gonna put a little more on my nose as well. But yeah, I really like the coverage that that gave. I felt like it definitely evened out my skin tone, but you can still see my skin through it in a way. Or like it doesn't look too heavy on the skin, which is nice. And the finish is definitely more matte, like it says. I mean, it is a matte foundation, but it doesn't feel like a drying, uncomfortable matte. And you can even see that there's still a little bit of a healthy glow to the skin, which is something I tend to reach for when it comes to a more matte foundation. So far so good. Plus the shade. Thumbs up on that. Okay, let's see here. They had all sorts of different types of concealer too, but I'm gonna try out this one right here. This is the Revive Concealer, and I have the shade Fair Light Neutral. The packaging is seriously so cute on these, so I'm gonna go ahead and take some of this. This shade looks like it's gonna work well. Oh, it has a doe foot applicator, and I'm just gonna go ahead and dot that underneath the eyes. And let's use it to brighten up the center of the face today, like that. I'm gonna put a little around my nose too. I tend to get some redness there, so I want that to be concealed. And I'm just gonna go in with the same sponge that I was just using, and I'm gonna blend that out all over the skin. This concealer has nice coverage too. It definitely has more of a luminous finish than the foundation. So far it looks nice as I'm blending it out. Okay, so far so good on the complexion. I really like how glam yet natural it looks. They sent some foundation sticks, and they actually sent a deeper one, which I'm assuming I could use for contour, so I'm gonna try it. This is the Replay foundation stick. It's a hydrating foundation stick, and I'm gonna use the shade 4.25 to try to warm up the skin. We'll see if it works. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of warm that up on the back of my hand. Yeah, it seems like it'll work. I'm just gonna pick that up on a brush, and I'm gonna start using this to kind of warm up the complexion. I don't always use foundation sticks as my contour because I feel like sometimes on me they look a little bit too warm, but we'll see if this one looks natural. It's actually blending out really nicely. Just applying a little bit to the sides of the nose, under the lip, and then a little along the jawline. Now I'm going to go back in with my sponge and just make sure the edges are nice and blended into each other. I actually do really like that, and even though it is more warm toned, I feel like it worked, so it looks nice. Okay, we're gonna move on to setting powder, which I've got right here, also from Hailey's Beauty. This is the Retouch Perfecting Powder. It's just their loose setting powder, and I think it's just a translucent powder, so tap the bottom to get some powder in the cap. I'm gonna go ahead and take some of this powder. It has a little bit of a slight yellow undertone, just slightly, which is actually usually pretty good for like brightening. I'm gonna make sure the under eye concealer is nice and blended out before setting the under eye area with that powder. I'm just gonna take that on a brush and I'm going to press that underneath the eyes. Same thing on this side. I'm also taking that through the T-zone to set that. And then I'm taking what's left and just kind of pressing it all over the cheeks and the outside of the forehead. Okay, I always like to take my sponge and just gently press over powder after I've applied it. And usually that kind of helps get rid of any of that excess powder or powdery finish. I think that definitely helped to press that back into the skin. Honestly, based off my first impression, I like the finish of that powder, but the color is just slightly yellow and I feel like it altered the color of the foundation that was such a perfect match before. It's not like a super obvious thing maybe to most people, but to me I notice it, so just something I wanted to point out. Let's go ahead and finish up the under eye or the lower lash line. I'm just going to take a little bit of the shade Python and I'm going to smudge that across the entire lower lash line pretty close to the lashes. Ever since my last tutorial, I think it was my last video, like the fall one, the Full Face of Nothing New fall edition or whatever, I have been really into just one matte shade on the lower lash line, like close to the lashes. There's something about it that I've been really liking, so I think I'm gonna do the same thing today. I'm just taking what's left on the powder brush and making sure there's not any fallout. I actually think I'm gonna leave the lower lash line like that. I'm gonna apply a little bit more mascara, so just the Hourglass mascara on that lower lash line. Okay, I really like that. I'm gonna add just a little more warmth to the complexion with my Milani Silky Matte Bronzer. I don't need too much, I feel like, because I used that foundation stick to warm up the skin, but you know me and my bronzer. I definitely like to look more sun-kissed than not. I'm gonna make sure to take this down the neck too to help kind of balance out the foundation on my face. I found this in my makeup collection and I don't think I've ever used it. This is from Kokie Cosmetics. It's the Blush Up blush palette in the shade Rose Glow. And I just felt like this shade specifically was really pretty and could look nice with this look. So I'm gonna dip into that shade and maybe I'll mix in a little bit of that lighter color too. Then I'm just gonna smile and apply that to the apples of the cheeks. Yeah, I think that looks so fresh and pretty. Okay, so Colourpop also launched some Super Shock Cheeks in the collection. So we have two shades. We have this one right here, which is deeper. This is the Out of Quartz, and then the lighter shade is Seismic. I'm going to try out the Seismic shade, hoping it will work for me. Here's what it looks like. It definitely has a little bit more glitter. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's definitely very, very glam looking. So I'm going to go ahead and take the other side of my sponge, and I'm just going to dip directly into this product, and I'm going to layer this on the cheeks. Oh, it's very sparkly. Darn it. I don't always like that in a highlighter. Oh, like it's straight up glitter. No! I was loving this look so much until that. Dang it. Okay, well, I'm just gonna go back over it with the other side of my sponge. Darn it, folks. It's much too glittery for me, but it's too late now. Okay, let's pretend that it wasn't glittery and that it was just like a nice satiny kind of highlight, because that's what I would have liked with this look. Oh, darn it. There's a time and a place for a glittery highlighter, but today was just not the time or place, in my opinion, with this look. But we're not gonna fret. We're gonna continue. We're gonna move forward. I actually feel like that would be really pretty on the eyes, but beware of it on the face if you did end up picking that up. I'm gonna remove any foundation that got on the lips. And we have two different lip liners to choose from, so I'm gonna swatch them both and see which one I wanna use. So we have the shade Ashton and then Cool BFF. So first I will swatch Cool BFF, which is this right here, such a pretty muted kind of pink beige. Then we have the shade Ashton, which I will swatch above that. Ooh, this one's even prettier. It's It's more like a cool toned mauve brown taupe. I definitely feel like I'm going to use the deeper one because I am vibing with like a 90s lip. So I'm going to use the shade Ashton, and I'm going to go ahead and line the lips with this. You know what? I'm also going to fill in the lips as well. Oh my gosh, that matches the eyes so beautifully. Well, folks, I really, 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 really like that lip liner. Oh, just the way that it matches the eyeshadow was what I was hoping for. Okay, so we have two glosses as well. We have the shade Rattler, which is this one right here. That's really pretty. Then we have the shade Queen Cobra. Ooh, that one's more of like a sparkly topper. I'm definitely feeling this shade right here called Rattler. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply that to the center of the lips. It's a little bit more of like a warmer tone than the lip liner, but I think the combo is kind of nice. It brings a little bit of life back to the lips. There was still something about just the lip liner alone that I really liked though too. Okay, so now that that's on, I'm gonna take my finger and just kind of press that into the lips to combine the two. I'm just removing any mascara that got on the eyelid. And then I actually feel like using that Super Shock Cheek, very, very glittery shade. Might be nice in the inner corner of the eye. So I'm gonna take that on a brush and just kind of pop that in the inner corner. Yeah, I definitely personally would prefer to use this as an inner corner highlight versus on the cheeks. Except for like very special occasions, there's something about the Fenty Beauty Diamond Balm that I love for like the holidays or for New Year's. And it's a very glittery highlighter, but for some reason this one just, it's not vibing with the look for me. But it does look really nice as an inner corner highlight. All right, we're gonna go ahead and touch up the brows really quickly. I'm just gonna brush through them. I'm just adding a little more blush to the cheeks with what's left on the blush brush. You know what, you guys, as much as that gloss is so pretty, there was something about the lip liner that I loved by itself, so I'm gonna actually just wear the lip liner. Maybe I'll try layering up the Queen Cobra shade since it's more of a sheer gloss. It still has that golden undertone though, but there's silver sparkle in it, so it kind of keeps that same cool toned color. Do we like that better than the first combo? Let me know in the comments. I still feel like I liked the matte, like just the lip liner situation, but oh well, I'm not gonna change it again. Okay, so actually, normally I would use a setting spray right now because I just feel like it always refreshes the skin, but I do want to wear this for the rest of the night and see how the foundation and complexion products wear without a setting spray. So I'm just gonna go into my clear brow gel to lock in the brows. This is from Benefit. All right, you guys, so that completes this makeup look. I definitely have a few thoughts already on the Colourpop collection. I don't care what anyone says. I really, 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 really like this palette. I love the eye look. I love cool toned eyeshadows. And if you're somebody who's been kind of eyeing the Natasha Denona Glam palette, while I don't think it's like a complete dupe necessarily, you're gonna get the same effect with the That's Taupe palette from Colourpop, and it's just a vibe for fall in my opinion. So I'm super, super excited about this eyeshadow palette. I really, genuinely, really love it. The highlighter was a no for me this time. Just with this look, I just felt like it kind of threw off my groove a little bit. With the glitter, I just wish it was more of like a satin sheen type of a situation. So was not my favorite when it came to that. The lip liner in the shade Ashton, that was so cool and interesting. Like the color is super unique. It definitely has more of that grayish taupe undertone. I don't think I have a lip liner quite like this. I'm gonna have to try the Cool BFF another time, but the lip liners really intrigued me. I really like them. The glosses were nice as well. I don't know if like they're anything too special, even though they are really pretty. I feel like I do own, you know, quite a few Colourpop glosses that look similar to this, but I did enjoy them. I felt like the lip liners are just a little bit more exciting in my opinion. The complexion products, I really did like so many of the things. I feel like my complexion looks really nice and matte, but still natural. So I will leave a note in the description box letting you guys know how the foundation wears throughout the day. The powder, for me, the shade just kind of threw me off a little bit. It's just the smallest thing, and if you have a deeper skin tone than me, you probably wouldn't run into this issue, but it just tinted my concealer and things a little bit yellow when I felt like the foundation itself was a very perfect match. So that was the only thing that I was like kind of bummed out about. But with that being said, I still think the finish and everything looks nice. So yeah, be sure to check the description box to see how it wore throughout the day. But overall, I'm glad that I tried everything. That glitter is still throwing me off, but hopefully we can just look past it. I genuinely loved the eyeshadow palette. So if you're a neutral lover like me and you've been into cool tones, you're gonna love this. This is something that I feel like, you know, could work all year round, but for some reason, these tones in fall, it's just a whole vibe for me. I love it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I hope you guys had fun seeing me try some new things. You guys know how much I love to like reach back into my collection super often, but there are moments where I get really excited about new products, and that's what happened today. I just had to try them out on camera so I could share them with you guys because hopefully it was interesting and helpful for you. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the look. If you're new here, hi, my name is Allie and I would love for you to join the family. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button. And if you're already a subscriber but you want to be notified on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, click on the bell after you subscribe and you'll get a notification every single time I post. That's it from me today. I hope you guys have an amazing day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye!